In this video, we're going to take a look at the News Administration panel, the content management system, that will give the editor the ability to go in and create and add news content and photos to the particular site. We'll also look at breaking news feature, which you'll be able to use to create something on the fly and also to send out an email. In this training, we'll also take a look at this area here, the what we call the top media rotator, and that will be common on most of the websites. That will allow you to use this as kind of a promo area to lead people to different stories throughout the website. And finally, we'll take a look at the front page poll question and how to switch the questions on a regular basis. In the News Administration panel, the editor with the proper permissions will see a number of areas under News. In this case, we're going to create an article, so we're going to click on Add Article. And there are a number of required fields. The required fields do have the bold text next to it. There are a number of other fields on here that may or may not apply to your particular property or to the person having the proper permissions. In this particular training, we're just going to concentrate on the editor who has permissions to upload a story. So one of the first things that the editor is going to choose is the correct section. And that's going to be already pre-populated with different sections here of the newspaper. Let's start with one that is entertainment. The next area here is author, and this is a chance to go in and select the reporter byline, and in this case we'll select that one right there. What's really nice about the system is after the reporter user account has been created with the reporter's photo, contact information and such, in the future, every time that the editor chooses a particular author, all that information with the byline information, the contact information and such will be showing up on the page, and so the editor here doesn't have to do anything additionally to that. However, there will be times when it is not a byline story. It might be a freelance article, it might be a submitted story, a press release. In that case, there will have been something created in here. In this case, it is staff report. And as we kind of walk you down through the procedure here, we'll show you how that comes into play. The header is simply your headline for the story. Subheader is any type of drop head that you may want to put in. And right here under byline 1 and byline 2. Now, in this case, if you don't want any type of byline at all, you just want the story to not say anything at the top, then just go with the staff report as the author up here and leave the byline in byline 2 blank. But if it is something to where you want to put in something along the lines as type in press release or submitted by someone, you can actually put that information both in byline 1 and byline 2. It could be something where you could say by Tom Smith, and Tom Smith is not a member of your staff, so that byline would not normally appear in the author area, but you could also use the byline 2 to say something along the lines of that he's a correspondent. And in that case, that will show on the story. As we scroll down here, the next big area is the story body, and as you can see, it has it's a basic word processor with some different elements here. This is where you could either typing in by scratch here. This is a story. And as you create a new paragraph, you can see it's keeping track of both words and character count. Now, most of the time, the story will probably already be completed, and this will be an area where you can copy and paste it. So you're not necessarily creating the story in here. Now, there will be times when you might, but in most cases, you're probably not going to do that. So you're going to come in and copy and paste. Now, you can normally come in and copy and paste it really easy, but we recommend that you use this area here that says paste as plain text. And upon doing so, you click on that and then you paste the text in a little box that will come up. Now the reason we do that is if you happen to be copying and pasting from a Word document or some other document that might have certain styles in it, it might have already predefined fonts and font sizes and whatever, you don't want that to be automatically transferred into the system. You want it to have the font styles that you set up originally. So if you ever get into a situation where you just copy and paste it without using the paste as plain text, you may see some funky characters showing up on the website. Something that's completely looks different than how it should be. If that is the case, go ahead and always make sure you type in paste as plain text. As we scroll down here, we have a related content box. Assuming you have the related content widget on your particular article page, this too is an area that works just like the main body copy area there for like a sidebar. As we scroll down here, we have, depending on the particular widgets that you have on your home page, you may or may not be using home page, front page positioning, and so forth. This is something that will appear in your written documentation that will explain it a little bit more. Because this is not something that every newspaper and every editor will encounter, we'll kind of skip that from this particular training video. There are some other things here that do apply to everyone, and that is a hide checkbox right there. By default, your stories will go live on the website right after you click save. But if for any reason you don't want the story to go live, or the story is already live and for some reason you need to pull it from the site, go ahead, instead of clicking on delete, which you don't want to delete the story if you might want to bring it back at a later time, just go ahead and click on hide. Commenting is by default. It allows all the stories on every particular article on the website to offer user commenting at the bottom. But we allow the editor to go in manually and uncheck that if for some reason you don't want commenting on a particular story. And that's going to happen from time to time if you happen to have an article that you might suspect might be very controversial in nature, that you may not want to allow commenting, or you might want to turn off the commenting at a particular time. The modified area here shows the current date and time when you click save on it, but you can actually go back and modify this, and that comes in handy if, let's say 3 days ago you uploaded this story and it originally appeared on the home page, but after 3 days it's now off the home page. Well, if you update this with the current date and time, this will tell the system to read it as, hey, it's a brand new story, and if that's the case, it'll go back on the home page. So if you ever want a story to kind of go back on that home page, you just change the modified date. We have an email alert here that, although most of the properties will have a daily or weekly email headlines alert that goes out to their registered users, you do have the ability to add any type of news stories that weren't part of the original sending of the stories that might have been sent at 6 o'clock this morning. Maybe you're throwing out more stories at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. You can actually go one by one and add email alert. The Keep Alive function comes in really handy if you want to keep an article live on the site for longer than the normal default time frame, which you will have on the section fronts. You will, when we're about ready to go live, you'll tell us specifically how many articles and how long duration, maybe 1 week or 2 weeks, that you want the articles to appear on the site before going into the archive. This is an opportunity that if you want a particular article to stay out there for weeks at a time or months at a time, just go ahead and put a keep alive date. And all you do at this point is click on the calendar there and choose the date that you want. As we kind of scroll down here, we have another area here that says requires content license. And although this is addressed more in depth in the paywall training that you may or may not be a part of, this is something where if you do have articles behind a paywall, the editor can go in manually by clicking on a little checkbox here to either put the article behind the paywall requiring payment, that would be a checkbox there, or keeping it free. And this preview area is an area where the editor can go in and override the number of words or characters or paragraphs that is normally shown as free as a preview to the users before they are prompted with their credit card. After getting all of your articles, article copy completed, now the next step is to insert your article media. And in this case, the article media refers to, as I click on the type here, an image, which is going to be a JPEG photo, and you can put as many photos as you want. We encourage you to put as many photos attached with the story. You can also do audio, which is going to be a Windows media file audio. This is where you can attach any type of recordings of city council meetings, anything like that. Flash is if you happen to have somebody on your staff who can create Flash animations. This is where you would upload it. And documents are essentially PDFs. This is where you can upload any type of written documentation that you want to show to your users. We don't put Word documents or anything like that, mainly because Word is a particular type of type that requires that people have it installed on their particular computer, but just about everybody has PDFs. So what you would do at this point is you can go ahead where it says upload single file, and you can choose the file. By clicking on that, that will find it on your desktop or your network drive, and you go in and you upload that particular media type. Make sure that you do select the media type. If it is a photo, you can put cut line information as well as the author information, which is the basically the byline there. And just as we had with the articles, you can go ahead, you have a modified date and a hide button as well. And as you scroll down, you've got article media 2, 3, it goes into 3 of them, but you will have additional opportunities for more photos to be uploaded. After you do the 3rd one, it will create a system where a 4th one and a 5th one, and you can just keep on going until you've uploaded as many photos as you want. The next area here, videos, will be further explained in our multimedia section, so I really encourage you to subscribe to the multimedia course if you haven't already, and that is something where we will explore that more in detail. And then when you go to the bottom here, when you're done with your work, you can click on Save. If you have more work to do, you can click on Save and add another, or Save and continue editing. If at any time you need to go back and see the stories that were already uploaded, you just click on Article. If you need to look at specific photos or anything like that that was uploaded, you click on Article Media. If anything goes into your archives, you can go also as well look in Archives to view the actual articles, and Archive Media to view the archived photos that were in there. This next part is we're going to show you, as we click right here, we'll show you the different presentation. This may or may not be the presentation you have on your particular site for breaking news, but in most cases it will appear across the top whenever you need to create something very quickly. As you can see here, it's underlined, meaning that if you click on it, it will go to that story. So this next section will show you how to create a breaking news item. We go back into the news administration area here and we look at breaking news, and we're going to click on plus add breaking news. And the first part of it is the header, and that is just going to be your headline. Now you do have the opportunity to put in a subheader, but in most cases you're just going to want to put in a simple header. Now the most important part is putting a link to the story. Now this has to be in the proper HTTP : / format, and this is only that if you already have a story that has already completed, you can link to it. In many cases, if you're doing a breaking news item, you may want to just put the basic of information that you received. It might be something like city council president resigns, and you can add up here more to come or something like that. And then once you have the story, put in the link to the story. Simply go to the story that's online, go at the top and copy and paste the URL and put it in here. Okay, so the next part is the modified, and typically a date will show a date and time, but this is something too that you're probably not going to really change the modified date, because you definitely want to get that breaking news item out as quickly as possible. This little checkbox here where it says front page only, it says if unchecked, this breaking news alert will appear at the top of the pages throughout the site. So by default, you'll have the breaking news appear on all your inside pages as well as the home page, but if for some reason you only want it to appear on the home page, uncheck the front page only. The next part here with start, stop, date, and stop date, it really only applies in some circumstances, and this is something where this is not a system set up to, let's say you want to put the breaking news item, have it start right now and end in an hour, and it will automatically do this. This is more designed if you have a particularly breaking news item that you run on a regular basis, and this could be a situation where you use the breaking news to promo maybe a show, a video, podcast, something like that you're doing on a regular basis, and you don't want to have to go in here on a daily basis and create this. So you would go ahead and you would create it, and you would then put like a start time always at 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock every Tuesday, or every Tuesday and Thursday or whatever. So really that's the only time that you would use the time elements. Down here at the bottom is the email alert, and you most definitely will want to send out email alerts when you do get breaking news. This will not typically appear with any other type of normal normal email headlines that are sent out at a particular time. So always be sure to click on email alert here. And then when you're done, just click on save, and you've got your breaking news. We'll now take a look at the top media area here, and this will be your rotator that will occur, and this is how to go ahead and put in these photos. In this case, it'll be 4 different photos with some cut line information, and then you would click on any of these photos to go look at the particular story. So let's go back into the top media area. Now I'm going to show you one that's already set up, but normally if you're starting from scratch, you can click on add top media to the right, and it will show some blank fields. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on one that was already set up so you can see how it works. This is at the top is your once again the modified date, which will appear as today, and all you need to concentrate on is the required fields. You have the file where you're going to actually upload a photo. That is going to be the first of the ones that you want to do. Select it as an image. Now you can select videos and audio and some other things, but typically photos are going to be the main source for the top media rotator. Give it a title, give it a cut line information, and most importantly, give it the link. If you don't have the link, people will not be able to click on it to go to the particular story. As you can see, you can keep going here. Here's the second one that we put in, a third, a fourth. You can get into as many as you need to be able to go to this, depending on the number of boxes you have here. Depending on your design, you may have 5 or 6 thumbnails. You may have 1 or 2. So it's really going to be based on what your design is like for the top media rotator. And finally, we're going to take a quick look at the poll area there. And it is very easy to switch out the question and put in some answer options here. But this is called a front page poll, not to be confused with the article page poll, which is going to be separate, and that's going to be dependent on whether you put that particular widget on your site. I'm not really going to go into the article page poll because it's very similar to the front page poll, but let's show you how to swap out a different question than the one in there. Once again, let's go back into, we'll go back to the main home page of the site administration, and now we'll go down to the poll area here. And it's right there, as you can see, polls. You have article polls and polls. In this case, we're going to click on polls, add poll. And then we get to a question. You just type in the question there. We do have the ability to have commenting, which I think is a good idea, that people can not only vote on something, but they could leave a comment. But if you don't want the commenting, simply uncheck that checkbox. Then the next part is this is essentially like your modified date, where it's going to keep track of today's date and time. If you want to delay that, come up with a question now, but you don't want the poll question to show up for 3 or 4 hours, you can set it to the proper area there. Finally here, you have here for 5 opportunities. We can on our end add if you need more than 5 answers, but typically you're not going to have enough space to really go more than 5, so we recommend that we keep it at the default area. But you just type in your question, you type in your answers right here, and then you click on Save after you're done with it. One thing to always keep in mind, always check the space that you have, that if you look back here, as you can see, it's taking up in this particular layout. The question was, essentially like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, about 13 or 14 words. And then you had 3 responses. And this actually works really good. You don't want it to get really tight or to be in a situation where some of the characters are cut off. You can always go back if it looks like you ended up putting too much text in that space. You can go back and you can edit it, but those are really about the only limitations that you have with the polls. So that's everything you need to know as an editor to upload news content and photos. Once again, check out the multimedia course to find out how to manage your videos. And now please proceed to the quiz.